Salutations, my dearest friends. My name is Samantha, and today I'm going to be talking about some historical romances that you should read if you're a big fan of the Bridgerton series and if you're really excited for season 2 of the Netflix series. Welcome back to my channel. I'm really excited for today's video. I'm going to be talking about some historical romances that I think are really good if you are a fan of the Bridgerton series by Julia Quinn. Season 2 is coming up on Netflix. Everybody is really excited about it. I'm excited. I hope it has just as much success as the first season did. I love the Bridgerton series for the very simple fact that it brings attention to historical romance that really wasn't there before. We had a lot of historical romance readers here on BookTube and Bookstagram and just like generally, but I feel like more people are more inclined to pick up the subgenre because of the series, and that just makes me so happy. I do think that the Bridgerton series is beautifully written. Julia Quinn really did a great job building the family stories, and I'm excited to see where the Netflix series goes. So if you are on a Bridgerton binge, you're rewatching the first season, you're excited for the second season, and you're just like craving similar stories, I have some historical romances to recommend to you. Okay, really quick though, actually before we jump in, let me show you my shirt. So this one is from Hello Lovely, and it is Bridgerton inspired. It says, "Viscount me into another episode." And I just love this shirt so much. Hello Lovely actually has like a ton of Bridgerton merch. If my code still works with them, it's Books with Sam 15. That will save you 15%. So I will leave the link to the shirt and the website down below if you want to rock some Bridgerton merch for this upcoming Netflix season. So as you guys know, the second season is mainly focused on our eldest Bridgerton brother, Anthony Bridgerton. This is my copy right here, and here is the step back, which is just so freaking gorgeous. I don't want to talk too much about this book because I'm assuming a lot of you guys have already read it, and if not, then you're going to experience Anthony's love story for the first time on the Netflix show, and I don't want to do any spoilers. I'll give it just a brief rundown. So like I said, it follows our eldest brother, Anthony. He decides that it is time to marry, time to get an heir. He's hell-bent on finding a wife, but pretty determined to not fall in love because of some things that happened in his family. Our heroine in this book, her name is Kate. Anthony actually has his eye on her sister, and Kate is not down for it. She thinks that Anthony is a rake and does not think he is good enough for her sister. So she kind of meddles into that relationship, and they start to develop kind of like an enemies to lovers romance. It is so good, so steamy. Love their banter. Kate is one of my favorite heroines just in general. This is actually my favorite. I gave it 5 stars. I enjoyed it the most out of the entire series. I think I've been pretty vocal that the first book in the series was actually my least favorite, so I have very, very high hopes for this second season. So now let me talk about some books that I think are very similar to this and that you will enjoy. What I want to talk about is the book that reminds me the most of Anthony's story, and that is Then Came You by Lisa Kleypas. This was a book that we read for our Historical Hellions book club. If you don't know, I do have a historical romance book club where we read historical romances every month. If you ever want to join us, the links are always down below. Follows our hero Alex. He is an earl and he is betrothed. He also is destined to get married and get an heir, but he does not want to fall in love because he has some dark past with his ex-fiance who passed away. Actually already betrothed to a woman. He's been courting her. This woman really doesn't want to marry him. She is in love with someone else. That's when our heroine Lily comes in. Lily is kind of the black sheep of the family. Has a little bit of scandal surrounding her name, but she comes back to her family's hometown because she's trying to save her younger sister from being married to Alex. And just like Kate, she meddles into that relationship, and the two of them end up having an enemies to lovers romance. Their chemistry and the sexual tension between them is on fire, so well written. I just love the banter between our two characters. I also really loved the little plot twist that was towards the end of the book. I don't want to do too many spoilers, but I just think this was a very intriguing historic romance and one of my favorite Lisa Kleypas books. Another enemies to lovers historical romance that I think you will absolutely adore is The Hellion by Christy Caldwell. This is the first book in the Wicked Wallflower series. I adore this series. It is available on Kindle Unlimited with the audiobook, so you can totally go binge it if you want. However, I do recommend reading the books in order. This is the first one, like I said. So it follows our heroine, Cleopatra. Cleopatra is a part of the Hellion family that owns a series of gambling hells. There's a family that owns a rival gambling hell in the town, and that's where our hero Adair comes in. His family also owns gambling hells and clubs that compete directly against the Hellion family, and it's kind of like a Romeo and Juliet situation where the families hate each other. They don't get along whatsoever. However, Adair's family actually owes Cleopatra's family a favor. So Cleopatra's older brother is determined for them to marry into nobility so that they can increase their status within the ton. So he is determined to marry all of his sisters off, and Cleopatra is the youngest sister, and she's the one that kind of gets like offered up first, if that makes sense. Adair's family has a little bit more connections with nobility, and because they owe Cleopatra's family a favor, they end up hosting her in their home and introducing her to London's wealthiest bachelors. Adair does not trust Cleopatra as far as he can throw her and becomes like this self-appointed bodyguard, and they have an enemies to lovers romance. It is a little bit of a Romeo and Juliet retelling, and I love both of our characters, especially our heroine. She is such a spitfire. If you like the banter that is in this book, then you will love the banter that is in this book, so I highly recommend it. I actually recommend the whole series. It is very similar to the Bridgerton series in the sense that it follows a family. So the next following books follow Cleopatra's sisters and their romance. Another series that follows a big family is the Mallory series by Johanna Lindsey. I'm so sorry about the glare that these books are causing for my ring light. I don't know how to fix that because I always film when it's not natural daylight, so I apologize for that. My favorite things about the Bridgerton series is the family dynamic. I love all of the Bridgerton siblings interacting with each other, and it's just so much fun to see all of their different love stories. A series that has always really reminded me of it is the Mallory series by Johanna Lindsey, such a classic. So I'll talk about the first book. This one is called Love Only Once. This book actually reminds me the most of the first Bridgerton book, The Duke and I, so if you like that book, then you're really gonna like this one because they have a lot of similarities. I actually like this one a little bit better than that one, but whatever, let's keep going. This book follows our hero Nicholas. In the beginning of this book, he has a mistress. I know, kind of weird, but I'll tell you how it's relevant. And his mistress upsets him and kind of like wants to make him jealous, and in a way to get back at her, he tries to intercept her carriage that's going to this like really prestigious party that she wanted to go to. Well, it turns out that he ends up intercepting the wrong carriage and kidnapping the wrong girl. He ends up actually kidnapping our heroine Reggie, and of course he realizes his mistake and tries to fix it, but her reputation is essentially ruined. So they get put into a position where they need to get married to save her reputation. He does know who Reggie is because she is his best friend's niece. So Reggie was practically raised by her uncles. They're definitely father figures to her, and Nicholas is best friends with a bunch of her uncles. So very similar to The Duke and I in that aspect, and they end up having a little bit of a marriage of convenience to save Reggie's reputation. I really liked this one. It's one of my favorite Johanna Lindsey books, and the Mallory series is just so fun because you get to see all of the uncles' love stories and the banter between them, and it's amazing. So those were just a few books that I thought you would really adore if you like the Bridgerton series. I hope you guys find some new recommendations. If you have any recommendations yourself, leave them down below. As always, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to spend time with me. It means the world to me. I hope you guys are all staying happy and healthy, and I'll see you in the next video.